Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? It's Ryan Miller checking back with GST's YQMA. We're on episode 57 today, and we tackle what I would consider more of a beginner-based question focused on meeting your macros for the day. Today's question comes to us from a current competition prep and fat loss client of mine. Her name is Tak Ho, and I really thank you, Tak, for sending in this question. It's a great topic, and a lot of people, although it's beginner-based, there's a lot of beginners out there, and those are the people that really need to gain new knowledge. And so today, we're going to deliver a lot of new knowledge to a lot of new beginner minds. So thanks for the topic. Let's get the YQMA underway. All right, Tak, here's your question. I have trouble staying within my fat grams. The stuff I eat has fat, obviously meat, and outside of that, milk, cheese, peanut butter, and protein bars. Do you have any tips on how to stay within 40-ish grams of fat? I know it's all based on personal preference, but I feel like I almost go over on that every single day. And when I add more protein or carbs or whatever, the fat goes up along with it. All right, so in summary, what we have is a person who's really struggling to keep their fat grams in check every day. They're struggling to not go over their recommended fat limit. And the reason that they're struggling here is because of the protein sources that they're choosing. And those protein sources actually contain a good amount of carbs and a good amount of fat. And that's the problem here, is this person is actually eating combo macro sources, which are providing protein, yes, but they're also providing a lot of fat and some carbs in the process. As you can see, she talked about milk, cheese, peanut butter, and protein bars as her protein sources. When you're looking for a strong protein source and as a strategy to keep your fat down and your carbs down while you're able to maintain that protein intake, is you need to find and choose foods that provide primarily protein for you. So as an example, a non-fatty meat, generally any type of white meat, chicken, turkey, white fish, tuna. Cottage cheese is also another example, but it does contain some carbs, but it can be zero fat if you want it to be, if you choose that fat-free variety. Greek yogurt is also another choice that can be fat-free. It does contain some carbs, but that's just something that you have to know. And you have the ability to consume a decent amount of carbs right now. I know that because I prescribed your numbers. And so if some of your protein sources have some carbs in them, that's okay. That's normal for dairy-based protein sources, like I mentioned, cottage cheese and Greek yogurt. So the main problem here is really that you're choosing protein sources that aren't really considered protein sources. Yes, they have protein, but in my opinion, when I think of a protein source, I think of a food that is going to provide me with calories that are primarily coming from protein. So something like a meat, a non-fatty meat, whey protein. Cottage cheese and Greek yogurt are up there, but like I said, they also do provide carbs as long as you have the fat-free varieties. You have egg whites, those are pure protein. I think that you get the point. The point is that your protein sources should primarily consist of protein. And I actually feel this way about all the macro groups. I feel that just by nature, if you're choosing foods that primarily provide you with one main macronutrient, you're going to end up choosing foods that are more just natural by nature. One would consider them like more clean foods. I mean, if you're choosing fruit and vegetables for your carbs, starchy vegetables for your carbs, animal fats, olive oil, avocados, nuts, things like that for your fats, those are all leaning towards that natural, clean type food category. And that's what I tend to recommend to people, because I feel like it makes it a lot easier when you have a lot of these foods that are combo foods that are giving you carbs and fats at the same time. It's a lot tougher to really stay on top of your daily macro intake. And for a beginner, it's even tougher because you're working real hard to find these combinations of these foods that are providing you with multiple macronutrients at the same time. And it gets all jumbled up. It gets a lot tougher. So what I recommend to you, Tak, is to choose protein sources that are based around the recommendations that I gave in this video. Keep the calories in those protein sources primarily coming from protein. And I actually recommend that to you for carbs and fat sources as well. And what I think is going to happen, actually what I know is going to happen, is you're going to find it a lot easier to track each day and to be able to make your macros fit the recommendations that I gave you. Now, as a closing note, I also want you to remember, Tech, that you need to keep calories, total calories intaked per day as your main priority. That's the number that you want to try to hit right on the head. As long as your macros are in the ballpark of my recommendations, that is considered a successful day. Calories first, but keep your macros in the ballpark of my recommendations, and you're going to do great. You're going to keep doing really well. We talked about your progress yesterday or 2 days ago, and it's going really great considering your break-in period and the amount of weight you've lost versus the time we've been working together. So, Tack, I am proud of you. You're progressing nicely, and thank you again for asking this question, because there's a lot of beginners that needed to hear this information, and it's just good information that people can hear, whether they're advanced, amateur, or complete beginners. Thanks again, Tack, for your question, and for everyone else watching this video, I genuinely thank you for the views. I always appreciate your views, and if you have any follow-up comments or questions, you know where to find me. So thanks again, everybody. Have a great rest of your Monday.